I know. I know. I said I wasn't going to do any more scripted content till next year, but recently sitting down and finally getting to watch Transformers 1, I have to talk about this movie. Hasbro itself and just the overall landscape of the entertainment medium. But before I do that, I want to first say, if you like the content that I make, please like, share, and subscribe, and hit that little bell to let you know that I am uploading videos. I'm almost at 500 and would like to hit it before the end of this year. Help me help you make a cooler community on the internet for people of all different opinions just to join the cool old school version of nerddom. With that out of the way, let's get this started.
Autobots, roll out!
Transformers 1 released on September 20th of 2024, an animated feature that changes the origins of Orion Pax to a certain degree. Orion, knowing that there is more to life than of being an Energon miner and wanting to leave this place, goes on an adventure with his best friend D16, until one day after the Iacon 500, a race where the best of the best Transformers go to compete, Orion wanted to show the people of Cybertron that they, these lowly miners, could take and be the best they could be. After losing the race, they meet their hero, Sentinel Prime, who praised them for their achievements and sent them to the low levels of the planet, where they meet up with a robot named B, or as the movie tried to get us to say,
Badassatron.
as they get a clue from one of his friends. B's kind of lost it at this point, and they make their way to find the final transmission of the Primes with Alita 1, their former Energon leader when they were in the mines, to now she's working as a garbage disposal unit. They all go to the location of the Primes. When they come upon one of the Primes and was given some of the Energon that they had with them, Alphatron wakes from his slumber and speaks to the gang how Sentinel Prime wasn't the hero, but in fact one that betrayed them. Their Energon was being given to their enemies, and the Primes were trying to protect them from the Quintensa, who Sentinel is now working with. After that, he gives them their transformation cogs as they were able to get away and meet up with the High Guard, who was led by Starscream. After a battle between Starscream and D, which D outright just destroys Starscream, they are later met up with the Sentinel Hitchmen, which D and B are captured, leaving Orion and Alita behind for them to come up with a plan and to expose Sentinel Prime for the betraying fraud that he was. Their final showdown being at Iacon, where D, now Megatron, takes his revenge and destroys Sentinel, and now Optimus wants Orion comes to blows as their friendship comes to an end, and they become the iconic enemies that we have seen battle over 4 generations. Alright, let's start off with the good. As far as the story, it's nothing really to write home about, honestly. It is a story we've seen time and time again, but with care. Honestly, the respect for certain characters within the story of this movie is what I loved about it, and it made it simply something I could get behind as a fan. The sadness you feel between the two of them splitting apart, it always hits me in the heart to see characters that once were friends to the point of brothers, only for them to fall apart. A trope, when done right, it can strike the right chords. You can understand why D was angry, but was not justified in his actions, as Orion tries to explain. Even though it seems like he is in that time and moment, the visuals for the movie and the background and amazing scenery shot were all captivating, and honestly, some of it was captured pretty well. The music from Brian Taylor fits this world so well, and it honestly felt like it was close to the original show. The Transformers from the 80s. The time length of this movie is under 2 hours. Thank the heavens, because if it went any longer, this movie would have been a hard sell, honestly. Now, as for the bad, I'm just going to say right off the bat, Scarlett Johansson doesn't work at Alita 1. I don't know, but hearing her voice come out of the robot didn't work for me, and it just kind of proves the point that sometimes that you need someone that is originally in the field of voice acting, like they did with Tails in the Sonic the Hedgehog movies, which I am so freaking excited for the 3rd film. You don't even know.
You're a colorful bunch.
But going back to the point, ScarJo stuck out like a sore thumb. All I can think of is just Nat from the MCU helping Captain America in Winter Soldier or Civil War. It felt that way. Also with the relationship between Optimus and her, which is lore accurate, but even with that, I really do feel like sometimes we should give these parts to VAs that work their butt off to be there? I understand they need big names to pull in people, but in a way, the age of the actor is kind of dying, and I'll explain that later. Another issue of this movie is Sentinel's just turn. I don't know why. I have no problem with just having just a enemy or a bad guy, but it just felt all of a sudden, and it was just this thing that they wanted the audience to accept just cuz, and it really made me feel personally like they had to set up someone so D could become Megatron in a time frame that was allotted for the movie. To me personally, it didn't feel earned, and from one moment when Sentinel was wrecking D, even when he was angry to have him lose, that just for him to be like a sniveling coward, I don't know. I was expecting just a little more tension, and that's just probably me my personal gripe or hang up. I think what they were trying to do was trying to make D's action more justified, but I don't vibe with it completely, and D's fall to the dark side was something I just couldn't 100% be behind, even though they try to justify it as much as they could. Aside from that, the movie was pretty solid. 8 out of 10. Would recommend, and I can't wait for the sequel. An eventual So, yeah. Hasbro has officially decided that they are out of the movie making business. Hell, they don't even want to be a toy company even. Hasbro has just been losing its steps, and honestly, you can see it. I mean, Hasbro, for whatever strange reason, decided to tank this movie with bad press, poor marketing, and just a trailer that really didn't show too much but a typical comedy that seems like each one of the characters were just not themselves. They were just comedic versions of themselves, and people turned around and walked away from the project. This wasn't the first time this has happened either. D&D Honor Amongst Thieves suffered the same fate with the poor marketing and honestly damning interviews, what made people think this was some kind of movie that was going to destroy the franchise, when in all actuality, they were both solid movies that let languish in the box office. This is one of those practices that I have noticed the companies decide when something doesn't work. They just leave it to rot and fall apart. Instead of trying everything in their power to figure out what they can do to make the most profit or make people interested to see the movie, they decided to shoot themselves in the foot and then walk away from their actions. Which leads me to the next part of this video, is that Hollywood, the mainstream media in general, only cares about what their products make over the creativity and storytelling that is key to making great movies. They treat things as cash cows instead of precious things that can create cool things down the road from those franchises. This kind of reminds me of even a reboot of the Power Rangers movie, how they marketed the movie and how they showed off the trailer. In my personal opinion, it was pretty solid, and once again, we'll never get to see a sequel. While it is understandable that Hollywood is a business, and business needs to make money, they only seem to care about the products unless it makes X amount of money, and that could lead to people being very discouraged to come back to the movies and even give it a shot. Also, there's a couple other factors. Another factor is, after the year that shall not be named, movies lost people. And because of the rise of streaming, and also just because people aren't sure if it's worth it and how long it would take before it would pop on there, Hollywood did create its own worst enemy. Another factor in this is, like I mentioned before, the Hollywood actor or the elites or the journalists that have done a lot of damage to these movies before they come out as well. What happens is that it discourages people from seeing it when they hear these actors or actresses say outlandish things about their fan base, and then only for them to be surprised when they act out in a certain way. A certain star by the name of Rachel Zegler is finding that out slowly but surely as we speak. Weird. Why I am addressing this, because Hasbro right now currently could have 3 successful franchises, 3 great franchises out of Hasbro, to be completely honest with you, but they just seem like they didn't care, or they just let people say the most weirdest things to not help their cases with these movies. The industry just wants to see the green, and not that these potential franchises could lead to better and greater things down the road. Hasbro has really done itself no favors when it's come to all of this, and it is saddening to watch the once mighty toy company lose over and over again. But past all that stuff, if you can please check out Transformers 1, fans of the OG will not be let down on how much care and effort they put into this movie, only for the folks at Hasbro to fumble this bag so badly. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and help me hit 500 subscribers before the end of the year, because that'll be great. Thank you. My name is Vaderfly, and keep your head above water, keep those dreams alive, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.